Get in, buckle up, and come for a ride with the Hoonatics. Cars, bikes, and anything else with an engine in it. Let's go.
A Snap-on franchise is a tool to your freedom, and we currently have franchise opportunities available across Australia. Snap-on have the best brands in the industry, a supportive network with exclusive training, as well as financing options to get you on the road. Are you ready to drive your own success? Visit snaponfranchises.com.au or call 1-800-762-766 for more information.
Jason, 7:26 a.m. on a Thursday in Adelaide.
I'm feeling good, baby.
It's been raining, it's cold, but we have a wonderful guest here this morning.
We do. We have.
She's braved the weather to make it into town. We have a short podcast this morning, but we have some cool stuff to talk about.
Our lovely dulcet tones are going to be bolstered this morning by the lovely Alana. Welcome in, Alana.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in so early.
Thank you for having me.
Are you adjusting to the time like we are?
It would be better with a coffee.
We need to darken the lights in here a bit, don't we? You know, we could just do it in the dark. That'd be a lot better. Yeah.
I think Jason and I both made the assumption that the other person was bringing the coffees this morning. We both rocked up empty-handed and went, damn it.
Okay.
It was you?
No.
I'm wearing my...
He's just got Red Bull in his blood anyway.
No, I'm wearing my caffeine-infused underwear anyway, so I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm emotionally stimulated.
So, we hadn't really talked to Lana about this until last night, until we saw a car for sale. So we said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? No, we've been talking about this for a little while, but I wanted to just start on this, Alana, and say thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
And also, you are a massive car nerd like the rest of us.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's you're at all the events around Adelaide, and you've got how many cars now?
I have about 5 in my driveway. Yeah. So.
Well, car enthusiasts are a wide and variety, motley bunch. They come in all different shapes and sizes. And,
definitely.
You know, they look sometimes fetching and handsome like me and ugly like him and amazing like you. And, we get V8 supercar people
athletic like me, lazy like you.
Value for money like me. Or, small and, whatever like him. We get drifters, we get drag racers, we get all sorts of people. But I'm going to say you're what we call a car scene enthusiast.
Pretty much,
grassroots car scene enthusiast out of Adelaide.
Yep.
And you just seem to have a never-ending passion for your cars and your scene and your state as well. Is that right?
Yeah. I started in the car scene back when I was about 17, 18. So it's been a few years now.
Yeah.
So I've managed to see through the Sex Specs era, the real big drift era, and the ever-changing car scene kind of people and world. So it's been an interesting ride, but it is fun. It's fun.
It's funny how you sort of think, we're doing this for the first time, and then you kind of go, hang on a second, I just met some guy called Jeff Tartuzzi who's been doing it for 20 years. You become the holder of the chalice moving forward, really.
Pretty much. I remember when neons were really, really big in 2005, and all I wanted was neons under my Honda Prelude.
Yeah.
And now I see guys out there with neons under their whatever. I'm like, oh,
really?
I did that 15 years ago almost.
Yeah. See, for us, it's like, I remember those Craigar SS rims when they were 14s, and now you can buy them in 17s.
Yeah.
And stuff. And the way things change. And Adelaide's a kind of a cool little ecosystem for car scene as well, isn't it?
We're a lot different to a lot of the eastern states. So I have a lot of friends in Queensland, Sydney, Melbourne. And every time we go over there, it's always 100% different to what it is here.
Yeah.
We're kind of our own little niche, and everyone knows everyone. Everyone knows everyone's business. And we're kind of cool with that.
Yeah.
Whereas over there, you do have a lot of pockets of their own kind. So when they're all together, it's really different.
Not to throw a somber mode over it, but disaster is only ever a corner or a gear shift away in our scene, be it on the track or off the track. And
100%.
And I think that's probably what provides the unity across the generations. You know, it doesn't matter if you pull up next to someone chrome bumper or plastic bumper, the understanding and the
Fiberglass
respect.
bumper.
Yeah, the respect is there. You know what I mean? And you're talking about the unique aspects to the scene. I come back to one of the most unique things our scene has, which is called the Adelaide hubcaps, the Saturn centerlines, with all the old cars having exactly the same wheels on them, and they all love it. And it's an awesome look. Let's go to modern cars of South Australia, modern modified cars. What's the one thing that South Australians do more so than other interstate scenes? What's the one modification you maybe see a lot of here in SA?
Probably a lot more static here. It's bags.
Really?
On the eastern states, yep.
Right,
Yep. We're probably not as stancy, you know, with the tilty wheels and whatnot else as the eastern states. So we're all about coilovers and dropping it low without being stupid.
Do you think that's got something to do with our roads?
It's got something to do definitely with my street.
Well,
I have a lot of speed bumps, so I can't go
Shout
too
out
low.
to Transport Minister Stephen Knoll.
When I took my Mazda Ute with a rotary in it to Sydney when I moved over there and drove down Parramatta Road for the first time, went, what the hell? I almost went through the roof. It was so hard and the road was so terrible.
Yeah.
But, I see what you mean. The stance thing is pretty big over there. And
I think it's a lot of American influence with this Instagram kind of world. You see a lot of the big, massive car shows in Japan, in the US, and everyone's, I don't know how they will sit the way they do. Like, that is insane.
And I mean, you know, it's easy to sort of look at stuff and go, oh, that's ridiculous. But in the past, we talked about back in the auto salon days with like the Osmonds and all those cars, it's like everyone's personal taste comes out in their car. So, you know,
100%.
Look at the Japanese Bozusaku cars and all that. They just look ludicrous, but it has to be done. Somebody's got to do it.
They are wicked in their own little way.
But, you know, but you watch and look at a goth walking down the street and the clothes that they wear. That's no different to that as well. The extremities that people push with, you know, green coloured hair and stuff like that. The ability to be your own person transcends different generations. And right now, you know, your modified car scene is driven by form, function and everything else in between, which is funny because we were driven by form and function, but from a financial standpoint, we just didn't have turbo twin cam motors to play with.
Yeah.
You know, we had 32, 36 Weber. Do you even know what that is?
I'm guessing something maybe not as quick as my cars, but...
So now you've mentioned you got 5 cars at the moment.
Yep.
Start with your most boring one and give us a rundown and maybe give a hint as to what the new car is without giving it away if you're going to announce that.
Yep. My most boring car will probably be my daily drive. She is my bright orange VF SV6.
Okay.
Holden Commodore. So
why did you choose that colour?
Because it was the only one that was there on the day.
It's safe.
We had a show and my Skyline does need to be towed around. So I needed to tow that weekend. We walked into a dealership and said, what car's got a tow bar? We'll take it.
Really? There you go. That's a good way of doing it, isn't it?
Pretty much,
yeah. Right, and they
pretty
said take this orange.
Commodores are a pretty good meat and potatoes tow car.
Yeah.
She works. She does it well. Yeah. Gets me around.
Last of the breed.
All right, number 4. What's the next one?
Well, we also have my husband's R32 that's in pieces at the moment.
Oh, cool.
And he is actually putting an S15 front on the R32. So it's a bit of bodywork. But we just like to be different and unique. So
I've never seen somebody walk into somebody's house where they've got one of those big 1,000-piece puzzles, and it's
that's my backyard. 100%.
It's not something that you kind of want to walk past. You want to sit down and put a piece on. You know what I mean? And when you look at a car that's pulled apart, I hear that. I get excited because it's the adventure of putting that car back together, and it's discovering how you're going to do it along the way.
And discovering where you put down all the parts and all the bolts and the screws. And
money's money.
What you've broken in the meantime.
Yeah.
Tell me though, like looking at the JDM terms and jargon, so a Sylvia and a 180 is a Sil 80.
Yeah.
And then I think Jake Jones called his car a Sonvia.
Yep.
And then there's others. So what do you call an R32 with a S15 front?
We don't even know. It's kind of based off a photo.
An S32?
No, it's an S152.
We've had a lot that's thrown around.
An R15?
Who knows? It's just there's one on the internet that Brett saw and he loved. So he decided that's what I'm going to do.
Hang on. If it's an S15, substitute the 1 for an I.
1532.
It can be a Sir 52.
Oh,
that might work.
yeah.
Shout out to
That sounds good.
Dennis Plescott. He used to have the Sir 32 or whatever it was, the GDR or whatever, R32.
Look at that. That works, doesn't it?
It actually does.
Sir
yeah.
52. Still got it.
All right, next car.
My R32 4 Skyline. So another one of those
Hybrids.
abbreviation things. So she's an R32 with R34 front. And she's my parts car.
Yeah. Where did that car come from?
So I bought her, about 8 years ago now.
Is it wide?
She was a standard GDST, so she's nice wine red colour. I hated the colour. I love wine, but I didn't like the colour of the car. So even longer ago, my husband had bought a BR front kit. This one had a GDR kit on my 32. So pretty much put the both stuff on Facebook. The GDR front sold first, so we put the BR front on.
Yeah, right.
So the rear...
I know of only 2 others in Adelaide with a 32 with a 34 front, and that was out of back in the day.
One of them's for sale still.
Lyndon Reynolds.
Lindo's car, yeah.
I would love to buy his car.
But the other one is the Viva Garage thing with the guards. That thing. Yeah.
Jason's just reliving his drift past here.
Well, no. When it came out, no. The Viva Garage guys were pretty good because I think they got a BR kit and they copied it. And they just blatantly just copied it and went, yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's what my kit is. That's the Viva Garage.
But the thing was, there was a supply and demand, and we got to the point where 32s were still very expensive cars back then before they had the price drop, and they needed to be personalised. Somebody in the US or Japan came out with a 34 front and 32. Everyone's mind got melted. And then the next day, Lyndon Reynolds had ordered one. It was in Joe with Willworks was putting it on, and do you remember they painted that freaking tree on the side of this car? You never saw the cherry blossom, did you?
No.
Oh, that was a dark day in drifting terms. Anyway, it's another story altogether.
And your next car, which is probably the one that I mentioned's for sale.
Yes. My bright pink S14. Yep. So because it's getting a bit tough to store, so having made the decision to make another purchase, that one has to go. So she's the most complete. I probably couldn't bring my heart to selling my 32. So unfortunately it's the Cook's time to move on.
Okay.
But we're not in a rush to sell, so
I
think also you said you're looking for the right buyer.
Is it a Series 1, Series 2?
It's a Series 1.
Wow.
But it has been Cookified.
Okay, because those Series 1s are getting very hard to find, very hard. We used to call them big eyes back in the day.
They were usually known as the ugly one.
Yeah, but there was I think you drove one when they first came out. I reckon, was it you or somebody from one of the magazines drove one and did a massive big stonking burnout?
They do that pretty good.
I reckon you did a story on one. The SR20 Turbo had arrived in Australia, and he probably won't admit to it, but they were a good car. And
she's
still
brilliant.
are today. Central driving position, quite low centre point of gravity, just a great all-round.
She's pretty low thanks to my Boston suspension.
Sports car.
So, so she's just shy of 300 kilowatts, so only 85, so she's pretty quick.
Yep.
She's an all-round.
What was your first car?
My first car was a Honda Prelude.
Wow, okay.
4th gen Honda Prelude.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fond memories of that one?
Freaking loved it.
Was it because it potentially was reliable?
No.
No, it wasn't reliable?
Not reliable.
Wow, a non-reliable Honda.
Everything.
Well, that's a mic drop moment right there, isn't it?
Wrong wheel drive.
Wow.
Yeah,
good for
I try not to make comments about Hondas anymore.
Macca's trade drifting, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Did you ever do the Macca's trade drifting?
No.
Oh.
They don't last
I
very
was
long.
all about
People
tracing cars down, so.
Yeah. Yeah, do the Macca's tray if you get a chance. Go hire a front wheel drive car just to do it. It's worth it.
Just a quick throwback for you too. When you're talking about like S14As,
yeah, that's a good way of spelling.
Remember a blue one?
Yes, yeah, certain Kodak.
Yep, works for Tail and Ben now.
Yeah, whatever happened to that car?
I think he sold it.
Did he?
It was a very nice car, Frank's drift car. So.
Hand on heart, I'm an old car guy, right? If you do any research on me, I like my old cars. But hand on heart, I would have a Series 1 S14 any day of the week.
Conveniently, I have one for sale.
Yeah, I know you do.
And it's just your colour, Jason.
Unfortunately, I have a wife, and she would say, car or me, and I'd probably choose the car.
Yeah, but it's pink, so she'd probably be like, you know what, I want to be angry at you, but I can't because it's pink.
You know, I'd love her to drive it to work, and you know my wife. But no, that car, I think, is the embodiment of the first real mainstream incursion of JDM cars into Australia in the modern era, outside of the WRX and Evo, from a rear-wheel drive platform point of view. And that obviously had an effect on you, because here you are with 32s and everything else. What's the one car that's on the wish list that you will get one day?
The one that I'm chasing, I'm always talking, he's an owner of a R32 GTR Tommy Kyra.
Yep.
He's in Sydney. It's like one of 200 Tommy Kyra GTRs around. So I will get it eventually.
Have you got the first right of refusal when he wants to sell it?
He did sell it. He sent me this massive long Instagram thing saying, I'm really, really sorry. Like, you know, someone came up with money. I'm like, it's fine. Like, it's all good. It's your car. About 6 weeks later, he messaged me saying, yeah, so I bought it back.
Right.
Oh, yeah, you did.
So he's aware that you want this vehicle?
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you think the scene in Adelaide is still driven by that necessity to look interstate for cars?
A lot of people do buy them from interstate.
Yeah.
But when selling a modified car, getting it like cleared here is difficult. So.
Well, talking of the scene here, what do you think some of the big influences that we have at the moment here are? What are you seeing at a car level that, you know, is influencing the way people are doing it? Is it, you know, there was a while there with the drift pig, you know, thing was big, and then it became, you know, the LS involvement became there, and then there was the American style billet everything, which was probably a bit before your time. Where are we at the moment? What are people really taking styling cues from?
Oh, I would love to know.
Yeah.
I love being unique, so I build my cars the way I want, and I'm so 2005. Yeah. So I love being crazy and outrageous. So if someone can, you know, join in me on the body kit bandwagon, I'd love that. So with the Pandem kits and all that, they're big in America, going wide and low. So that's probably the most.
You notice a lot of Rocket Bunny popping up on stuff as well.
Oh, God, yes.
You know, and that used to be the real golden goose to get that. If you had a Rocket Bunny, there was a 35 that had a Rocket Bunny kit, and everyone was like, oh my God, is that what I think it is?
Yeah, he was one of the first ones from GE Customs to do a lot of the wide body stuff. It's probably comes down to a lot of money. Like, I know when, like, both my Kooks and R32, they're both wide body, so it's not only just the kit, you got to find the wheels to fit and everything else, and there's a lot of bodywork. So, like, underneath both kits, most of the cars are kind of a bit trash, so I can't even really take them off.
I'm going to pause you for a second, right? Because I'm going to take you back 25 years into the future, so into the past. Okay, you're now sitting here, and you're sitting there. We're talking about, and we're saying, so, you know, when you put the flares on your SLR Tirana. You know, what did you? Oh, there's a lot of bodywork to do underneath. You've got to cut them out so you can get the 14x10s on with the, you know, what is it? Yokohama Eager tyres.
Yeah, I suppose
there's no new ideas, is there?
Yeah, no, 100% not. You know? So I'm just waiting for my cars to be cool again. So either you love them or you don't love them. And I have a lot of people, because America don't get a lot of our JDM stuff, always rip into me about having a 34 front. Why would I change a 32? Rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
But that's just how I choose to express myself.
Well, your build is That Skyline Girl, so you've really put yourself into a niche of that make and model of car and so forth. Is there anything outside of that brand and that model that you look at and kind of go, yeah, I'd like to have a crack at that?
The American scene would be good.
Yeah.
I have close friends with American Motors.
Yes.
So they take us out with their whatever they brought in. So the last we went out in, it was in a Demon. And I'm not going to sell my house to buy a Demon, but I would like an SRT or something would be fast, powerful, unique still. The
Demon is the 32 GTR of its day, and when the 32 GTR arrived in Australia, it rewrote performance, you know, on the street and the track. When the Demon rocks up, there's only probably, I'm going to say, a very niche group of people in Australia that understand the Demon truly understand. Some have seen it on paper, some have seen it in the flesh, but those that truly understand it, you're one of the very lucky people to get a ride in one.
Oh, it's beautiful.
They're almost like a Bugatti Veyron moment, where it's like, will we ever see this again? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean, like going off on an adjacent tangent, because he does that. I would say the Hellcat was the GDR and the Demon was just like the GDR on steroids.
Yeah, so Alex and Nick, they import all those.
Yeah.
I think they've got a couple more coming over at the moment. So they've sold quite a few in Adelaide and around as well. But they are like, you see in it, it's got all the little luxuries. You got like reversing cameras, great sound system.
Have you heard of the crate engine, the Elephant?
The Elephant?
Yeah. Because you can take that motor that's in that Demon, pull it out and put a crate engine with 1,000 horsepower in it.
Jesus Christ.
I know, so it goes again. But the reason I'm talking about this is there is a segue through to who you are and what you have. You like a very specific vehicle. You're very disconcerting with your taste and style. And, Mark, you talked about the Hellcat. The Hellcat has that much of the population, whereas the Demon has that much of the population. The Kiara Skyline, which I do have some knowledge of, has that much of the population. The 34 NER that Christian Appelt has
that is brilliant.
Has that much of the population. And so, as a disconcerting car enthusiast, moving forward, where are we going to be in 40 years, 30, 40 years time? What are we going to be celebrating like we do with the GDR Tirana?
It's nuts.
Which cars are we going to be celebrating?
Hopefully it's not the Tesla or anything electric.
I know.
Toyota Camry.
It is a little bit concerning, isn't it?
It is. I was thinking the other day when I was driving to work, I'm like, you know what? When I first learned to drive, my cars didn't have like airbags. My Skyline has still no airbag. And, now that comes in every car, like cassette players.
Yeah.
There's people these days that don't even know what a cassette is.
I used to have cars that was an option. The radio, the wireless.
It's not an iPhone holder. You can't just shove it in there.
And now you're checking what song's up next on your your Apple iWatch.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, it's a cool time we live in. Everything chrome bumper is worth $1 gazillion. It moves beyond being affordable to being just a luxury. Now we're talking about those post chrome bumper cars in the 90s and some 90s and early 2000s that are just becoming almost unattainable. Now we're looking at the modern day cars and sort of saying, well, what are the options there? Some exciting times moving ahead and moving forward.
What I want to say too is, obviously you've got a pretty big following on social media, and I think a lot of that's because people go, oh, that's awesome, there's like girls out there that are in the cars, because obviously this day and age, it's not unusual to have girls in the car scene. We had this whole
more of us than there used to be,
and we had this whole plan today of talking about all girls in the industry and stuff like that, and few that we know and few that we know of. And one that rings for me is Lisa Kubo, who I've met quite a few times. She was the first lady, or the first person to run a 7-second quarter mile in a front wheel drive car.
Yeah.
And she's awesome, but and a real JDM freak too, her and her husband.
Yeah.
But I guess for other girls out there that are wanting to get in the car scene, you're quite bold and proud of what you do, but what would you suggest? Being a girl, for other girls, like whether they look to, do they,
it's something
come
I
to
get
you
asked
or?
quite a lot. Like, how do you do what you do? And it takes a real thick skin, and that's something that you just got to throw yourself out there. And some people aren't going to like you. Some people are going to like you.
Yeah.
Some people have a lot of things to say, but you don't need to listen to them all. Just be you. Build your car the way you want to build your car. If it's a Hyundai Getz, or if it is a Demon, whatever you own, make it your own and be proud of what you can do and your ability.
Yeah, and exactly what you just said, awesome too, because in this day and age of social media, everyone's got an opinion on everything.
Oh God, yes.
And it doesn't. The amount of comments we get on YouTube videos and stuff like that, where people just say stupid stuff, and it's like
they wouldn't say it to your face, but
yeah,
behind a computer, they got massive.
I put together a list of a couple of women that had an impression on me over the time, and the two that I wanted to just quickly draw attention to was there was a top fuel drag racer called Shirley Muldowney from America, who in the 60s and 70s was the first top fuel drag racer. And she's the backstory on her is amazing because it was a male-dominated sport. And there's a bit where Don Garlett's, the most famous drag racer of all time, said she did it her way, she didn't care, and if you didn't like it, too bad. Right? And that was kind of cool. The other one that I'll mention to you is a really unorthodox role model, which is Michelle Rodriguez.
Ah, yes, my girl.
Yeah, which is Letty Ortiz from the Fast and Furious. And a lot of people kind of go, what? But you go, hang on a second. This is a strong, independent female that came onto our scene in a movie franchise that has endured, and she's portrayed exactly what you said.
Yeah.
And I could probably go down to a T saying that you were quite young when this movie first came out.
I was in year 8 when it first came out.
And you probably looked at that actress and thought, I want to be like that. I want to drive a car like that.
Yeah.
And I think she drove a 32. Did she, or was it the other dude?
Oh, she had an S14.
She had the maroon S14, didn't she?
Yeah.
It was the blue one was driven by the other goober that ended up didn't making it to the next movies.
Hang on. Quote, what did she say when she hit the nitrous button?
Bye-bye.
No. Wasn't it see ya?
Something like that. Yeah.
See ya.
Well, She, I think, as an actress, has been in a lot of movies, but her biggest legacy will be the fact that she's inspired women like yourself to endure in an industry that has been male dominated and have your own piece of the action.
Yeah, she's a strong woman. It is, when I was growing up, I always wanted to be Jordana Brewster, who plays Mia, because she was the hot one. I have, prior to putting the S14 up for sale, had thought about getting the kit and doing the whole Letty spin-off, so kind of fitting in with...
No one's done that car.
No.
No one's done that car.
A good friend of mine, James, he has the rest of the Fast and the Furious collection.
You'd sell it quick if you sold it to him?
I'll buy all his collection.
Well, maybe you could sell it to him and he could paint it. You seem to have a painter in common, so...
Yeah. Chop's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you follow my Instagram, I do a lot of shout-outs to Fast and the Furious and whatnot else. Through that connection, I actually talk quite regularly to Chad Limbo, who played Jesse from Fast and the Furious.
Yep.
So we have a pretty good relationship now as well, which is pretty cool to think that, like, he only did one movie. But he was a real pivotal person in that scene that actually fermented the family kind of vibe.
Yes.
How they all took him in and that. So...
Yeah, no, it was an interesting one that I sat down and thought about and come up with. And there's a number of different people in here that I wanted to mention, which we don't have to do. We can do it another time. But, Shirley Muldowney broke the mould. And there's been a number of them like, Sabine Schmidt and people like that. They've really broken the mould and taken the stereotype. And we live in an exciting time where you can do what you want as long as you don't listen to the haters. If you don't listen to the haters, you are as creative as Van Gogh with 100%. A car. And it's been really cool to get you in here and talk to you about what's been going on with yourself and what's been going on in your future and some of your influence as well. So I think it's been awesome. Cool.
And I guess just to finish off, you've got a new car project happening.
Yes.
Because we're not live with this, so by the time this comes out, you may have announced it already. So what are you going to do with that car, and also where can people find out about it and check you out and all your cars and stuff like that?
Awesome. So whilst building my R32-4, where I'm going to be having another Skyline project. So moving back to That Skyline Girl name, but like in the same normal concept as all my other cars, it will be a bright, outrageous colour and high-powered and pretty quick too. So,
has anybody ever done an R32 fronted R31 wagon?
That'd be terrible.
No.
Wide body?
That'd be like putting a Commodore front end on a Volvo.
You probably get away with more of a 34 front end on a 31 because they're a lot more squarer.
No one's done a wagon. Oh, they do it on a I'm not even going to try and say the word.
Stager.
Yeah.
Pretty much every car built in Jason's head looks like Homer Simpson's car. So, yeah.
There's a 34 stager up in Queensland, isn't there?
Yeah, there's one here as well in Adelaide.
Yeah. That's a good looking conversion.
Matty Dowd's style car.
There's a Supra that has an AU Falcon front end.
I see. That's quality. That's quality. What a way to end the podcast. A Supra with an AU front. That's brilliant. Yeah.
That's how to make a car look like Jason's face. Yeah.
Each to your own.
A car for the people, man for the people. That's what it's all about. Yeah. Outstanding. Are we done?
We are.
Get in, buckle up, and come for a ride with the Hoonatics. Cars, bikes, and anything else with an engine in it. Let's go.